Hello students, a very good morning to you. How are you? I hope you all okay and doing your study properly. So students, keep it up and do your homework regularly and send us. And let's continue at chapter 13 of class 11, that is photosynthesis in higher plants. In my last class, I have explained you about the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, in which we saw that how electron transport occurs between PS1 and PS2. So today we will study about cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So what is cyclic and what is non-cyclic? You already familiar about non-cyclic, mean which there is not a cyclic process occurs between the photosystems and electrons. That's why that is called as non-cyclic. Means there a jet scheme characterization of the electrons occurs. So let's understand in detail what is the main difference between non-cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So let's understand first non-cyclic photophosphorylation. In my last class, I have explained you how in non-cyclic photophosphorylation both PS1 and PS2, it means photosystem 1 and photosystem 2 are involved by trapping the light and releasing the electron, and they transport the electron in a non-cyclic manner. So what happened? In non-cyclic photophosphorylation, both PS1 and PS2 work in a series. Means alone PS2 or PS1 can't perform this. So both are attached or both acts in a series. Means they are interdependent, due to which a jet scheme structure is formed between the electron transport pathway, means the path through which the electrons get transported, that looks like the structure of jet. That's why it is called as jet scheme. It is called non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So if the question will ask what is non-cyclic photophosphorylation, you know what is photophosphorylation? Production of or formation of ATP and NADPH during photosynthesis is called as photophosphorylation. So non-cyclic photophosphorylation is defined as when the transport of electrons takes place, or when PS2, PS1 and PS2 work in a series and they form the jet scheme structure, that is called as non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Clear? So what happened in non-cyclic photophosphorylation? Both, you should notice this, ATP and NADPH are formed during electron flow. Means I explained you in my last class how electrons release form ATP and NADPH. NADPH is formed in PS2, whereas ATP is formed in PS1. So here both ATP and NADPH are formed during electron flow. Since the electron lost from PS2 do not return to PS2 but are replaced by those from water. It means, as I have explained you in yesterday's class, that when electrons transport from PS2 to PS1, then the PS2 loses its electrons. Then how again it gains electrons? It tells us that during electron transformation or electron transportation, PS2 loses electrons for formation of ATP and NADPH. But how again it gains the electron? After losing, how it gains? It gains from the water. As you know that during photolysis, water breaks as 4 electron and 4 proton. So the electron loses from, or the loss of electron from photosystem 2 is again replaced from water. As we know that water splits to give H2 plus O, or we can say that 2 proton and 2 electron. One molecule of water gives 2 proton and 2 electron. If 2 molecules of water we take, then it will be changed to 4 proton and 4 electrons. So this is released, or the electrons can be replaced from water. Clear? Next is your cyclic photophosphorylation, which you need to know in details. In non-cyclic, we saw both the photosystems are involved, means PS1 and PS2. But in cyclic, only PS1 is involved. This is the main differentiating character. If the question I give you, make a question or make differences between non-cyclic and cyclic photophosphorylation, then the first point you should write, in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, both PS1 and PS2 are involved. But in cyclic photophosphorylation, only PS1 is functional. Means the transport of electrons only occurs within the PS1. There is no role of PS2. And where it is possible, where the absorption of light is more than 680 nanometers. Clear? When the absorption of light is more than 680 nanometers, it means more than 680 means 700. So PS1 has the ability to trap 700 up to 700 range of light. That's why here in cyclic photophosphorylation, only PS1 is functional. The electrons are circulated within PS1. Students, you can see the structure. Here is the chlorophyll A, which is the reaction center. As you know, chlorophyll A, this is found in higher plants, and this is the reaction center. Reaction center means here water breaks into hydrogen and oxygen. Again oxygen releases outside and hydrogen enters inside of the thylakoid membrane, means lumen of the thylakoid membrane. So what happened? Here is light. Light trapped by the chlorophyll or the reaction center. Light trapped by the reaction center where chlorophyll A is present. After the light gets trapped, breakdown of water occurs, and during its breakdown, electrons are released. So the electrons released are go in upward direction. Where? To the electron acceptor. Electron directly can be transported. So first the electron released from the reaction center after photolysis of water goes towards the electron acceptor. Again I am telling you. The light is received by chlorophyll A. Clear? Here breakdown of water occurs, means light breaks water. So after breakdown of water, electron and proton are released. Proton goes inside, whereas electron releases outside, and that electron is again received by an electron acceptor. So here this electron is received by electron acceptor. After this, again this returns the electron through electron transport system. ETS means electron transport system, and again it comes towards the reaction center, due to which ATP is formed. Here after transfer of electron, ATP is formed. It means in PS2, means in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, both ATP and NADPH is formed. But here in cyclic photophosphorylation, only ATP is formed. Why NADPH is not formed? Because the NADP plus reductase enzyme is not present. NADP plus reductase enzyme get converted into NADPH plus H plus. But when that NADP reductase enzyme is lax, so it can't be get converted into NADPH. That's why only ATP is formed in cyclic photophosphorylation. So let's see what are the points. When only PS1 is functional, means cyclic photophosphorylation occurs when PS1 is functional. The electrons are circulated within PS1. You can see the electron released from here, go to electron acceptor, and then again it returns to the reaction center. Next, This happens in the stroma lamella, which is lacks PS2. This happens in stroma lamella, but the non-cyclic photophosphorylation occurs in the thylakoid membrane, but it happens in stroma lamella. You can compare the non-cyclic or Z-scheme photophosphorylation. So here stroma lamella, which lacks PS2, means in stroma lamella PS2 is not present and NADP reductase enzyme also not present. So due to this, what happens? So the excited electrons do not pass on to NADP plus but returns to PS1 through ETS, as I have told you, as it lacks NADP reductase as well as PS2. So PS2 and NADP reductase enzyme is absent here. So the electron goes towards the electron acceptor, again returns to the same place, means towards the PS1 through electron transport system. Clear? As degenerized electrons, hence there is formation of ATP, no NADPH. Clear? As here the electron is returns towards the PS1, so here no NADPH is formed, but only ATP is formed. No NADPH is formed. So this is also an important difference between cyclic and non-cyclic. In non-cyclic, what happened? Both ATP and NADP is formed. Why formed? Because electron also transported in PS1, due to which ATP is formed, and electron also the reductase enzyme NADP plus reductase enzyme is present on PS2, due to which it forms both NADPH and ATP. But here only ATP is formed. Remember students, in cyclic only ATP is formed. And cyclic photophosphorylation occurs alone when light of wavelength is higher than 680 nanometer, which I already discussed with you, that how the PS1 plays an important role in cyclic photophosphorylation. So here you can see that when the light of wavelength, means the wavelength of light is more than 680 nanometers, but in non-cyclic both 680 and 700 nanometer range of light is trapped by the photosystems present in chlorophyll A, means for PS1 and PS2. So these are the main differentiating points between the non-cyclic and cyclic photophosphorylation. Remember students, this is one of the most important topic of this chapter, and you can get many questions from it, like why NADPH is not synthesized in cyclic photophosphorylation. Then what will be your answer? Because it lacks PS2 as well as the NADP reductase enzyme, due to which they lacks. Again, non-cyclic occurs in thylakoid membrane, whereas cyclic occurs in stroma lamella, means the lining of the stroma. Stroma and grana you have seen in chapter 8 while you are studying about cell in the chloroplast. So here cyclic occurs in stroma lamella, whereas non-cyclic occurs in the thylakoid membrane. So here only PS1 is involved, and in non-cyclic both PS1 and PS2 is involved. Here only ATP is formed, and in non-cyclic both ATP and NADPH is formed. So students, these are the main differentiating points between cyclic and non-cyclic. You have to understand it in clearly. I think you should understand this, and you should follow your NCERT book, and also study the points, learn the points which is written on the blackboard. You can take the screenshot and can use the points while reading your NCERT book. If you found any doubts, then you can ask me. So students, for today this is all about your cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation.